guys, I'm Danica and this is Couponing and Cooking with the Gabbs. Hi guys, and welcome to Couponing and Cooking with the Gabbs. Now for this episode we are going to be doing steak fries, kind of a spin-off of carne asada fries, because we are here in Las Vegas in the Southwest region and they do a lot of carne asada. But carne asada is more or less using a particular cut of steak, which is flat meat. And flat meat is usually pretty expensive. And then also it involves going to the grill. So I'm not going to be going to the grill today. I'm going to just boil it down tender, and then I'm going to saute it down. It's kind of the same way a little bit, but I'll show you guys once we get to that part. And then it's still going to go over fries. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, now for this part, this is the first part, we're going to go ahead and get our meat started. We're going to boil it down. Now what I'm using is just a thin skirt steak. So I already tenderized these and cleaned them, and I'm going to just go ahead and I put them in the freezer. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these whole, because after we boil them down, we're going to saute them so that they end up kind of grill-ish, kind of sort of carne asada. So this is just basically just regular steak fries. Carne asada is more or less when you put it on the grill, and they kind of use what's called flat meat, at least out here in the Southwest region. Okay, so we're going to add our water to the pot, and then let me give you the measurement in just a moment.
Every little kind of crazy, every night I'm still coming on to you. You and I are a little bit complicated. Tell me, baby, that will make it like I know we are.
Okay, that's about 8 cups of water, and we're going to go ahead and turn that on medium heat, because this needs to boil at least maybe 2 hours, because it is a thin skirt steak. It's not going to take a super duper long time, but if you guys did watch my Italian beef Chicago style video, that was a thin steak as well, but that one wasn't skirt. This one is skirt, but you can choose whatever kind of thin steak you want. That will work just fine. But like I said, I did tenderize this prior to putting it in the freezer until I was ready to actually fix this meal. So I did put 8 cups of water. Now this is going to reduce down, so you may or may not have to add more water to it. And sorry guys, I was cleaning and my nail is gone. So, but anyway, so yeah, this is going to reduce down. So you're going to may or may not have to add a little bit more water, because all we're doing at this point is making sure that it is tender, so that once we put it over our fries and we bite into it, it's going to just go ahead and melt in your mouth, and there's no excessive chewing. So yeah. So we're going to go ahead. Now I'm not going to put the top completely on. I'm going to vent it, because whenever you boil beef, it rises up, and then it may overflow and it's going to mess up your stove. So I always put the top just vented a little bit, so that some of the steam can escape and it doesn't boil over. Okay, so this is going to wrap up just the first part here. This is the longest part of the steak fries, so I wanted to go ahead and show you guys that part. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next. Okay, now for this part, I'm going to be making pico de gallo, just fresh from scratch. And I just wanted to show you guys how I do it. So I do have some fresh on the vine tomatoes right here. Now I'm not going to be using all 3 of these. I'm going to put those up for something else. And these are already washed and everything. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just chop this up really quickly. And I guess just, you could call it medium dices. I never keep the top part. And I'm not making a lot. It depends on your family size of how much you would like to make. I have a family of 4, so I don't need to make a lot, because my kids are not kids. They're teens, but they're still kind of picky. So they don't really eat the pico de gallo. So it's pretty much just me and my husband, so it's just 2 of us.
Every little kind of crazy, every night I'm still coming on to you. You and I are a little bit complicated.
Okay, now once you do have all of your tomato diced, and I'm not perfect with it, it's just me and my husband eating it. This is just for at home. If you're doing it for like a party or something to that effect, then you probably would want it a little bit more even cut. But I have it pretty much even. And I sliced them, well, diced them 2 at a time just to save a little bit of time. So there you go. You have 1 full tomato right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and rinse this off, and we're going to go ahead and dice our onion up. Okay, now that I have that all cleaned up, I'm going to go ahead and start on my onion. Now this is just the way that I cut onion. There are different ways to cut onion. This is just what I've been doing for years, so you can dice it up the way you feel comfortable. I'm not going to tell anybody that they have a incorrect or correct way of doing it, because I am not culinary trained. I know there is a culinary way of cutting an onion. I tried that and I don't do well with it. So I do it the way I was actually taught. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just slice it in half this way. And then also another trick I do for the smell, I run it under cold water. Another thing you can do is keep like a little container of cold water next to wherever you're cutting your onion. And for some odd reason, it does absorb that smell so that you're not crying about time you're done. So that's just a little trick I picked up along the way.
You and I are every little kind of crazy. Every night I'm still coming on home to you. You and I are a little bit complicated. Tell me, baby, that we'll make it like I know we always do.
Okay, so I'm just going to use half an onion. I'm not going to use the whole thing. And I'm going to put that right on top of my tomatoes. And actually, I think I'm going to get a bigger container to mix it first. And then I'm just going to house it in this smaller container. Because like I said, no one really eats it but me and my husband. So I don't need a whole lot. But I need a little bit of space so that I can mix this around. So I'm going to get a bigger bowl. Okay, and then also what I do is with my leftover onion and tomato, because we can make sandwiches or I can do other things with it at a later date. I just drop it in, yes, it's coupon, Ziploc bag. And then just drop these right into the refrigerator just like this. And just use them as soon as you can. Okay, now for this part, I'm going to go ahead and just dump this in here so I can have a little bit more space. Let me get a spoon. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of flavor, just a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper to taste. Then I'm also going to add, now make sure you add this sparingly. This is dried cilantro. You can use, and it's better with fresh cilantro. But for today, I'm going to use dried. That's about maybe a tablespoon. And then I'm going to add some lime juice. Now, also to this, sometimes what I do, this is about a half a teaspoon. What I do is I add jalapenos to this as well. Just diced jalapenos fresh. Just to kick it up a little bit, so you can do that as well. I'm not going to add that today. I did it last time for my family. So for today, it's just going to be, well, for me and my husband, rather. Today, it's just going to be tomato, lime juice, cilantro, and, well, let me be specific. 1 whole tomato, 1/2 of onion, a tablespoon of cilantro, and a 1/2 tablespoon of lime. And you can add the salt, pepper, and lime juice to your taste. Also the cilantro as well. So I would suggest for the cilantro to add it sparingly, a bit at a time, because cilantro is a very strong flavor and it's very strong scented. So if you add too much, it will overpower anything that you're doing. So it's add a bit, taste, add a bit, taste. Because if you add too much, you can. My grandmother always told me you can always put it in, but you can't take it out. So you can go ahead and just taste it to make sure that it's to your liking. I can use a little more salt. And just a shot more lime. I might add a little bit more cilantro too. Just a bit. Like I said, you can put it in, but you can't take it out. And it's best done with fresh tomatoes. Don't let them sit in the refrigerator too long. One, they get mushy. They're hard to cut, and they're hard to keep their form, and they mush. Once you start mixing it together, they're not going to hold. So it's best to do it with the freshest that you can get for tomatoes. And then once you go ahead and make it, you can put it in the refrigerator, and it's going to last you about maybe a week and a half max, depending on what kind of refrigerator you have. Yes, that's perfect. So now I'm going to just, now I have extra dishes. But that's okay. I'm going to add it to this, and it's going to go straight into the refrigerator. And I would say let it chill at least maybe an hour prior to serving. Okay, and then that's it. That's your pico de gallo.
Okay, so now we're going to put the fries on 400 degrees and spray them with some canola oil.
And if you guys have followed me for my regular coupon videos, this is the same bag of fries that I showed you guys from my Kroger affiliate Smith's mega event haul video. This was a 5-pound bag for $3.99. And the canola oil there, I showed you guys, that was $2. So everything pretty much that we use in the cooking videos is couponed or deal shop. So if you guys are interested in that and you're just watching just the cooking videos, I would highly, highly suggest, if you like to learn how to save money, to visit some of our other actual coupon videos.
Alright, now we're going to spray them with some canola oil. And now we're just going to put them in the oven.
Okay guys, now for this part, I'm just going to show you guys how to saute your steak down. So now it has boiled pretty much about 3 hours. Like I said, it does depend on the thickness of your steak. This is a thin skirt steak, so not that long. Now I did pour off the remainder of, let me make sure you guys can see that, the remainder of the juice. Actually, I'm going to pour a little bit more out, because you don't need that much, just a little bit. Now let me show you guys this. You see that right down there? That's about all you need right there. So you're going to cut this on medium heat. Now, traditionally, I would use a little bit of olive oil, so you guys can do that. But I'm going to just use a bit of canola oil. Just a little bit of that. So I'm also going to go ahead and do my seasoning. And it's always seasoned salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and black pepper. But then in addition to that, I'm going to use crushed pepper, cayenne pepper, and a little bit of steak seasoning. And you can go ahead and make sure that you season this to your own personal taste. And any of the seasonings that I use, you can omit, like the spice. If you guys don't like spice, you can go ahead and omit that, which will be the cayenne and the black pepper. And I'm not using a lot of it because I'm using cayenne and crushed, so I don't need a lot of both, just a bit of both. Now this I actually showed in my Kroger haul video this week. the Weber seasoning. This one I've had since last year. I did coupon it for 29 cents. But it is also on sale this week if you guys wanted to go ahead. If you have a Kroger store or a Kroger affiliate store and you want the Weber brand seasoning that I'm using here now, the steak and chop, this is on sale right now for $1.29. And I'm not going to use a lot of this because it has salt in it. And I don't want this to be salty because I'm going to be using Velveeta cheese. Now I have the regular one for my son, and everyone else will get the jalapeno one. Now these I did not coupon, but just deal shop. These were available either at Dollar Tree or at Dollar General for just $1. So it serves its purpose. For this, I have 3 packs of the jalapeno one, and then I have 1 pack of just the regular cheese sauce for my son. He didn't want jalapeno, so yeah. So what I'm going to do, because, well, I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, just a little bit of smoke starting to come up. So that means my pan is heating up because I did cut this off earlier. And then my son just showed you guys the fries in the oven. So I'm going to start to just chop this up some. Because like I said, this is going to be pretty much sauteed down. But we don't need these gigantic pieces of steak. Now, if you wanted to cut this up prior to boiling, you could. That would be totally up to you. Either way you wanted to do it would be fine. It's not really going to change its texture or anything to that effect. Maybe a little bit less work if you did it prior to. But when I do make steak fries, this is how I do it. When I make a lot of meals, this is how I do it. And you can see right here how I'm just chopping it down. And just a little bit of liquor just still in the bottom of the pan. Well, not pan, of the pot. Now, you can use a pan if you wanted to. If you have like a big wok or something to that effect, you can do that. Now, also, if you wanted to add just some sliced onion in here, you could. Sliced jalapenos, you could. Sliced bell pepper. Like I said, my kids are picky, even as teenagers. So, I'm going to leave it like this. And what I'm going to end up doing is making it kind of sort of like loaded. So for everyone that actually likes to eat food like that, like loaded, which will be myself and my husband. I'll show you guys what that means in just a moment. But as for my kids, I just let them, well, they're old enough now, so I just let them go ahead and fix their stuff how they want. Like when I do tacos, steak tacos, burritos. Now burritos, I'll tailor it. But tacos and stuff like that is super simple. So they can go ahead and do that themselves. Little kids can do that themselves. So it's not a big deal. So I'm just start that around a little bit. And just keep on chopping. And yes, I'm holding the pan. It's not exactly hot yet. So it's not really bothering me. I've been cooking so long, majority of the time, I don't feel it. Okay, so that's pretty much okay. So I'm going to spread it out in an even layer on the bottom of the pan like that. Chop that piece up a bit. Now what I'm going to do is, because that's why I sprayed it a bit with the canola oil, or you can use a little olive oil. What I'm trying to achieve right now is a sear. So I'm going to go ahead and let that go for just a moment, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys the progress of the steak. As you can see, it's starting to sear just a little bit. If you needed to add a little bit more oil to it, you could. Whatever kind of oil you're using. And then just give it a stir. Because we just want pretty much just a light sear on this. It doesn't have to be complete. Okay, so I'm not going to put the top back on it again because it's just about done at this point, and we're about ready to do our assembly of our steak fries. So we'll be back with you guys in just a moment. Okay guys, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and assemble our steak fries. The fries have already been in the oven. I did pump it up a little bit to 425 degrees just to try to get past a little bit of that cooking process. And then here is our lightly seared steak right here that we're going to go ahead and put over everything. Now, I do have holy guacamole right here. I did just have this in my coupon video for my Kroger affiliate store, Smith. This was $1. And then I have the lime here for just a splash. And then I also have jalapeno slices. These came from Dollar Tree for $1. I have Daisy sour cream. This was also $1, a previous purchase. And then my pico de gallo that I showed you guys how to make earlier. So what we're going to do is put a little bit of steak on each plate. And I'll show you that in just a moment.
You and I are every little kind of crazy. Every night I'm still coming on home to you. You and I are.
Okay, that's all of it there. And then we're going to go ahead and put on the Velveeta cheese sauce right here. Now, this one is the original just for my son. Let me grab some scissors. And what I'm going to do is just make this really, really quick. And we're going to heat this up, but we're going to heat it in the microwave. And then we can put on, well, like I said, my kids eat funny. So they can put on it what they want on it, period. And like I said, another way of doing this is just, you can also put it all in a pan. And you can put whatever shredded cheese you want on it. And then put it under the broiler to melt it down. Really, really nice. Kind of sort of like you would do like a casserole. So you can do it that way. Okay, so this is how that looks so far. So we're going to pop this one in the microwave. Okay, now I'm going to use the Velveeta jalapeno cheese sauce on the other ones. Now this one will be my daughter's. And you put however much you want on it. This one's a little bit thicker.
You and I are every little kind of crazy. Every night I'm still coming on home to you. You and I are a little bit complicated. Tell me, baby, that we'll make it like I know we always do.
Okay, now here is the first one. Here is melted down. You can see the steam coming off of it. Okay, now I'm going to do mine and my husband's. And we're just going to knead that down just a little bit. And yes, this is processed cheese. Velveeta is processed. So, like I said, if you wanted to use the cheese like the regular shredded cheese, you could do that as well. And then just put it under the broiler if you don't want to use like the Velveeta or any other kind that's like this. But then also, we don't just eat like this every day. Some of the meals I was able to record for you guys, and then some stuff I just cook. So and some days I don't cook at all. So there's a balance. So if you eat heavy like this, then you go another series of days without eating heavy. So that you can have a balance. It's okay to have this stuff like this sometimes, but not all the time. And no, I don't cook heavy all the time. Okay, guys, now here is the finished product. This one is mine. Mine does have sour cream, jalapenos. You can see the pico de gallo under there. And then I have the guacamole on there, and it is spicy guacamole. And I did finish it with just a little bit more of a sprinkle of the cilantro. As you can see, I did use up all of the pico de gallo I made, but it's okay. And this one is my husband's. He doesn't do guacamole or sour cream. So what you're going to do is just lay your fries. Then you're going to put your steak meat. And then you're going to put your cheese, whatever kind of cheese you're going to do. Like the Velveeta, I did put it in the microwave just to melt it down. And then I did the pico de gallo. And then the jalapenos. And then just for his, I just did the cilantro. And then for mine, I just layered on everything else. So that's pretty much kind of how I made it loaded. So... So you can add whatever toppings you would want on yours. But this is just my take on steak fries, or just like a kind of sort of play off of carne asada. Like I said, that's pretty much on the grill. I just sauteed it in a pot, or you can use a skillet. So yeah, this is just our meal for tonight. Okay guys, that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and happy cooking and couponing with love. Bye.
Pick up the phone, little lady. I sent a text, look at it, girl, I'm waiting outside. Came out looking grown, little lady. In this world of the flexing, girl, you ain't gotta try my mind to